On Stateline, Senate candidates vying for your vote. Hello and welcome to Stateline, I'm John Taylor. First to the campaign trail, most of the campaign is focused on the House of Representatives where governments are formed. But there's the Senate as well, an important check on government power. This election there's a Melbourne Cup field from Queensland. 65 people are vying for our state's 6 Senate spots. We can't talk to everybody, but today we gathered 5 candidates at Brisbane's Powerhouse to discuss the Senate race. James Baker, you're an independent running in this election. How hard is it to challenge the dominance of the major parties and win a seat in the Senate?
Well, there's no doubt it's tough, but there's no point in complaining about it either. You've just got to get in there and do it.
But is it impossible though?
Well, some would say, some have said to me, what are you doing? It's impossible to do. But A, if I thought it was impossible, I wouldn't be doing it. But B, you can get in there, you can contribute to the debate. And I think with the preferential system, you certainly can have a chance as an independent. We've seen it happen before. We've seen Brian Harradine get in there and he made an enormous impact on the Australian political scene as an independent senator. And certainly in the House of Representatives, there are many independent candidates or independent members of Parliament. Peter Andren, who was laid to rest today, very sadly. You have Bob Catter, you have Tony Windsor. And if you lined them up against any of the backbenchers in the major parties, most people would be able to point out those independents and say, yes, I've seen them before, I know them, because they punch above their weight as independents, and that's what I'm trying to do.
The Senate fails to live up to its core obligation, as the Founding Fathers put it, which was to represent the states. That no longer seems to be an issue.
Yeah, but the Constitution actually says that the senators are for the states. That's what the Constitution says.
But you've even had premiers like Peter Beattie who said that the performance of the Senate, and by default every senator here, that there's been a total failure of the Senate to live up to its charter as the state's house.
Will the Labor Party promise not to disendorse Labor Party MPs and senators who vote against the dictates of the party hierarchy? Can you give that guarantee to people?
You cannot talk about dictates and process.
So if they cross the floor, they get kicked out.
That's not automatic.
Tell that to Kate Malloy.
Peter Garrett, he says...
So why haven't you cared more about Queensland?
Senator, if you've got a committee system, but all your senators are then forced to toe the party line and vote along party lines, then what's the point of having the committee system?
So in the Senate, it seems you're more concerned about national issues and the benefit of the nation as opposed to the direct interests of the state. So do you think the Federation then needs reshaping?
Well, we've got to have parties that allow their senators to vote along state lines. You should be devolving the responsibility for decision making, and that's why the Senate is so important, so that the people of Queensland have the direct ear of their senators and they can contribute. And we need more people who are going to be Queensland's person in Canberra rather than Canberra's person coming back to Queensland and saying, hey, these are the decisions that have been made down in Canberra, you've got to live with it.
We're running short on time, so final thoughts everybody, and if we could keep it brief.
Yep.
Starting with you, James Baker.
Well, I think the people of Queensland want their Senate back. They want people who are going to go down to Canberra and be their person in Canberra, not the other way around.
Well, on that note, senators and aspirants, thank you very much for joining Stateline.